Good morning, everybody. My name is Gary Parker. I'm the Managing Director of CNT Associates, which is a business support, training organisation and fundraising support organisation too. I'd like to welcome you to this presentation this morning, which is support for women-led businesses. And I'm going to hand over to my colleague Michelle Smith very, very shortly, who will host it. This is being recorded, so it will go on to our YouTube channel probably within about 2 weeks' time, so you can recap it then. There will be opportunity to ask questions as we go along, and there are a number of speakers who will be introduced shortly. So without further ado, but just to mention, this is supported by the government's Talking Business programme, which is also supported by Bexley Council and the Greater London Authority. So over to you, Michelle.
Thanks, Gary, and good morning, everybody, and welcome. We have got some really great speakers for you today, and I think one of the things I love most about these sessions is the fact that you get the opportunity to make connection and to hear about other people's stories as well. And there is always so much that you can learn and take from other people's journeys and the things that they share. So I hope that you will find real benefit in what you hear today. And I would encourage you to make connections with the people that are in the room. And yeah, I will be sharing some details of my own shortly, so be sure to connect with me. And what I wanted to do very, very briefly before I introduce everybody else is just to give you a little bit of information about me and about what I do. And I thought I'd share a little bit of a presentation for you, if I can actually get this to work. One moment, I'm just going to share my screen. Okay. So let's just put that into slideshow. So I'm Michelle Smith, and I am a coach, an NLP practitioner and hypnotherapist. And I'm really, really delighted to be here as your host today. You will find so much information on the CNT Associates website and lots of other of these sessions that have been held in the past. So be sure to check that out, because there's lots of information out there. And as today's webinar is about support for women-led business, you will get so much benefit from checking out what has been shared previously, as well as what you hear today. So I thought I'd share a little bit about my journey from corporate to entrepreneurship, because it hasn't been a straight line. And I think that's one of the biggest messages to take away from my experience, at least. But I'm still here. Running my business, which has evolved over time. I left my corporate career back in 2013, and I had a conversation with my HR director at the time, and he said to me, right, your next move is HR director, and you need to start looking at how you're going to get there. And that was the catalyst for me for thinking, I don't want that journey. That's not where I want to be. And I had an opportunity to start a property portfolio with my husband, and that was the thing that got me out of the corporate career and into doing something for myself. And then I started my own venture alongside of the property portfolio, which was a failed property inventory business. And I mention that here because I think sometimes the failures are where we learn the most. And that's one of the key messages really that I wanted to share today, certainly in relation to my experience. But that's what brought me from corporate to consultancy and then into coaching and hypnotherapy. Now, one of the things that I have learned, well, lots of things that I've learned, but starting a business without a plan is not a good idea. So no matter where you are in your journey right now, I would say always have a plan. And if you don't have a formal business plan, then at least have something on a piece of paper that gives you some direction of where you're going. And be sure to do something that you love. If you're connected to your purpose and your values, then it makes those difficult times, which you will inevitably experience, a lot easier. Anybody in the room that works with their spouse may resonate with this, but that can be an interesting journey. And I just wanted to mention that because if it is something that applies to you, then I would say have a plan and be prepared for the challenge. And because I started my business quite late on in midlife, I think I had to really realize that actually I didn't know everything. And it's okay, it is absolutely okay to admit when you don't know something and to get the help. Now, being your own boss can be really difficult and probably harder than you think, but it's really rewarding. So just something to bear in mind. And there's help out there, so use it. Never be afraid to ask questions and reach out to people. And keep your mindset in the right place, because what tends to happen is if you look for a problem, that's what you're going to get. So if you're open to positives, then you will get positives back. And really just keep on keeping on, be tenacious, take action, and don't see failures as failures, see them as opportunities to learn and grow. Now, some of the areas that I work on particularly with my clients is well-being, focus and productivity. And I just wanted to share this one with you. Sleep is a very, very, very big part of what I do in terms of helping clients to get more productive. And I wanted to share this great phrase that somebody, when I mentioned yesterday at a network meeting that sleep is actually an income generating activity, they turned around and they said, don't leave money on the pillow. And I just wanted to share that with you because I thought that was brilliant. Because we tend to sacrifice our sleep when we've got all the things to do, running a home, running a business and everything else that life throws at us. We can tend to squeeze sleep and get less of it than we actually need. And one of the things that I've learned recently is that sleep actually changes as we age, hormonal changes, our melatonin production reduces. So if you were like me and you started beating yourself up because suddenly you can't sleep like you used to, be kind to yourself. It's a natural progression. And lastly, I think this is probably a big one for all of us, reevaluate your relationship with your phone and be sure that you're not sacrificing your ability to have a calm and peaceful night's sleep because you've basically switched on every fear center in your brain by checking your phone before you go to sleep. So remember, don't leave money on the pillow, and sleep is an income generating activity. So just a little bit of well-being for you to take away from today. I am going to drop some links in the comments so that you can connect with me if you want to know more. I run a free community online and you are welcome to join us in what is a really warm and welcoming space where small business owners come along, share ideas, ask questions. And tomorrow I'm running a free task sprint on Zoom. So if you've got a job or something in your in tray that's lurking there and you're just not getting it done, then come and spend an hour with like-minded business owners and just focus on that one thing and get it done. So that's me. Happy to take any questions if anybody's got anything they'd like to ask. But as I say, I will drop my contact details in the comments and you're more than welcome to reach out to me. Okay, I'll just check the chat and see if there's anything in there by way of comments. Okay. Feel free, everybody, if anything occurs to you. Oh, Kika, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, my question is, I'm quite interested in starting an online community, and I am, yeah, still a bit hesitant about it, because I don't know, I don't even know what the hurdles are. So, yeah, I would be interested in your experience on that.
Always happy to share. So if you want to have a chat, let's schedule to have a Zoom or meet up for a coffee. And yeah, I'm more than happy to share what I've learnt. I think the biggest challenge I found is engagement, but I think that that's probably true across all platforms. But when you do get engagement and you can get the members of your community to really get involved, then it becomes a really lovely thing. And the platform, just in case anybody else is interested, the platform that I'm using is Circle, and I would highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. But yeah, let's, outside of this, let's have a chat.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Okay. So, without further ado, I think it's time for me to pass on to our next speaker. And I would therefore like to introduce Sybil Mayard, who is a digital consultant. I know, having shared this space with Sybil before, she always has some incredible nuggets to share. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you've got to say today, Sybil. So over to you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. So I also have a quick presentation to deliver, so I will share my screen now. Okay. And my presentation is going to be about avoiding the digital overwhelm. We all use digital tools, we all use technology. It's impossible to avoid these tools nowadays. And so my talk is all about how to embrace these tools rather than there being a source of frustration and overwhelm. So, brief introduction to myself. So, I am a digital services consultant. So, I do several things. Web design is my main background. I design and build websites for small businesses, but I also provide related services, helping businesses to make the most of technology. For example, email marketing, CRM systems, analytics, automation, and others. Because I know that technology can be overwhelming. There's so many tools out there. Business owners just don't have the time or the skills to work with them, and that's how I can support businesses. And I've worked with organizations from a wide variety of industry sectors, including creative, health and well-being, technology, consulting, and many others, e-commerce as well. So let's move on. So there's two main concepts that I want to talk about. First, digital overwhelm, which is the main theme. And we have a definition here. So digital overwhelm is a mental exhaustion caused by the constant influx of digital information and communication, leading to stress and burnout. So we live in the internet age, and we're constantly bombarded with notifications. There's so much information that we can see every day going on the internet, social media sites, news sites, and so on. Then it's no wonder that we feel this exhaustion and this feeling of overwhelm, causing us to feel stressed and burnt out. There's just too much going on. And on the other hand, there's a concept of online well-being. So the definition of this, it's also known as digital wellness. It refers to maintaining a healthy, balanced relationship with technology that supports your mental, physical, and emotional health. And we can see in the image, this lady is much happier. She's enjoying her cup of tea whilst she's maybe chatting to her friends online or working. And that's what we want to be aiming for, having a healthy relationship with technology, digital tools, and the internet. We want to be using it in a positive way and not as a source of frustration. So in the next few slides, I'm just going to go through a few tips and tricks and a few hacks that you can adopt in order to simplify your digital life. So the first thing I'm talking about is emails. So we all use emails. It's very convenient. It's a quick way of communicating with others. But if you're like me, I receive tons of emails every day, and it can very quickly become out of control. So what can we do? Here are a few tips. There's really no need to respond immediately. If something is really that urgent and someone's trying to get a hold of you in an emergency, they will probably phone you anyway and not use email. So rather than constantly checking and responding to emails, I would recommend choosing a few specific times each day, say 3 times, that you dedicate just to managing your emails, and don't look at your emails between those times because you need that time to focus on other things. You can flag important messages. So sometimes you might not have time to respond to something, and so coming back to it later on, you can flag it so that you can easily see in your inbox which are the important messages that need to be dealt with, and then you don't forget to address them. If you tend to subscribe to many services, newsletters, there's a tool called unroll.me that will tell you all of the subscriptions that you have, and you can easily go through that list, ticking the ones that you want to keep being subscribed to, and unticking the ones that you want to unsubscribe from. So it's a very useful tool. Reducing the frequency of newsletters. So some newsletters might give you the option of receiving them daily, weekly, monthly. So I would go for the monthly option if it's available. Then I don't keep getting so many cluttering my inbox. Set up your out of office. So if you're going to be away for a while, then having that automatic reply just lets people know that you're not available, and so they won't keep emailing you for a response. They'll know when to expect a reply from you. And finally here, monitoring the spam folder. So we tend not to look at this, but sometimes legitimate emails go into the spam and we're unaware of this, and the person who's sending these emails is just contacting you and you're unaware that they've been doing that. And it could be important emails. So I recommend checking your spam folder, because the longer you leave it, the more spam is going to just be piling up, and it will be totally overwhelming. You'll be spending so much time going through all of them, trying to sort which is spam and which is not. So please do that on a regular basis. Okay, so next thing is about passwords. So passwords is another thing that we have so many of nowadays, and research has shown that the average user has about 200 passwords because of all the accounts that they have online. And as you can imagine, it's not possible to remember all of those passwords. We don't recommend reusing the same password across multiple accounts. So each account has to have its own unique password. And that's where a tool called a password manager comes in. So this is usually either an app that you install on your device or an add-on that installs on your browser, and it will remember the login information that you create for each account that you have. So doing that, you don't need to remember any passwords. All of them are saved and they're securely stored in this app. Create strong passwords using a password generator. So this generator is usually included in the password manager. By strong password, I mean one that is very difficult to guess. So it's quite long, say 12 characters or more, and a combination of letters, numbers, symbols. And also don't write your passwords down because they could easily be lost or get into the wrong hands, and don't share them with others. Because the last thing you want to happen is for your passwords to be guessed or accounts to be hacked, and that causes even more stress. So you want to avoid that before that happens by doing these few best practices. Okay, so next thing is social media. So most of us use social media platforms to run or promote our businesses, and it can start to become unmanageable if we're on several different platforms and we're trying to manage all of these platforms in an organized way. And staying consistent as well can be quite a difficult task. So rather than just posting spontaneously, so whenever you have a good idea, just go out and post it, and then it could be weeks, months before you post again. You need to have a sort of plan in place. So creating a content planner is a good way to start. So this could be as simple as a spreadsheet where you list date, time, platform, what content you're going to post. You could spend, say, 1 day per week planning what you're going to publish during the week ahead. And what you can do is, instead of manually posting this content, you can use a scheduling tool, for example, buffer.com. So it looks like a calendar, as you can see in a screenshot there, and you can schedule your posts and they will be published at the specific date and time that you set. They'll go out automatically, so it's a sort of set and forget process. You set everything up and then all the posts get published automatically and you don't need to remember to do them. Use AI tools, for example, ChatGPT, and there's many other similar tools out there to generate ideas, but I wouldn't recommend just copying and pasting directly from the tool. Use it to generate an idea, and then you can modify and adapt it into your own style. And don't be tempted to use all the social media platforms. Utilize the ones that your target audience is actually on, and that's much more effective than trying to be everywhere. Tidy up your to-do list. So I have many tasks that I need to complete every day. So I use something called Trello, which is a simple but powerful project management tool there are 3 elements to this. There's boards, lists, and cards. What I tend to do is I use 1 board per project. I use 1 card for each task, and then I organize, for example, to-do list, doing list, done list, and so on. It's a really good way to organize things. And a useful feature of this is you can set a due date for the tasks as well. So what I do is every evening I go through my tasks, I tick off the ones I've completed, and the ones that I haven't done, I'll set it to remind me at 7 a.m. the next day. So it means that every morning at 7 o'clock, I get an email with a list of all the tasks I need to do during that day. And I find that works very well, very efficient. And the key here is to be realistic with the number of tasks that you're aiming to complete per day. Don't try to have like 20, 30 items on your list. This is going to feel overwhelming and you won't be able to achieve all those things. So make sure to be realistic, say 10 tasks maximum or even less than that. Keep it manageable. Making the most of your mobile, and Michelle briefly touched on this earlier on as well. Our mobiles are supposed to make life easier for us. I'm not so sure if it does, but we need to make the most of it and not become overwhelmed. So deleting apps that you no longer need, muting WhatsApp groups and other noisy communities, customizing your notifications so you don't need to receive notifications for every app. You can choose and select ones which are the most important. Leave your phone in another room when you're around others, so you won't be tempted to be using your phone when you're around friends, family, or other people. Switch your phone to grayscale. So this is an interesting one. Research has shown that if you set your phone to grey or black and white, it makes the screen less appealing and you're actually less tempted to tap the icon. So I'm going to try that and see how effective that is. And finally, we have here using Do Not Disturb. So you can set your phone to silent at specific times of the day. So I like to do this at night before I go to bed, so I don't receive any notifications when I'm asleep. Or for a more restrictive effect, you can use airplane mode. So this turns off all the notifications, and it's good if you need to focus on a important task and you must not be disturbed during that time. Okay, and last slide we have here is other tips to improve your online well-being. So set limits on screen time, avoid going immediately online after waking up or 1 hour before bedtime. Restrict the types of content you interact with. So there's so much negative content online. You need to train yourself to not engage with that type of content, because if you do, it's just going to have a negative impact on your whole mood and well-being. There's so much of this stuff out there. Please do ignore it. You can I've had to delete some of my social media platforms, so I just won't be tempted to engage with this type of content. Customize your social media feeds, avoid toxic communities, make sure to maintain good posture when using phones or computers, take regular breaks, and participate in offline activities to boost your mental and physical health. So it's all about the balance. we spend a lot of time online, so we also need to balance that with offline activities as well, so we're not neglecting our health. And finally, if necessary, then do seek support. If you're finding that you can't cope, you're getting feelings of anxiety, depression, then do speak to people you trust, friends, family, or your doctor if necessary. And here are my contact details. I will also put this into the chat for your information. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions, please do reach out to me. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sybil. That was amazing. And I, just on that point of phones, I've just read a really good book, so I'm going to put that in the chat as well. If anybody has any questions for Sybil, might I suggest that you put those in the chat as well, and we'll come back to those towards the end, because I'm just conscious of time. I know that Kika and Sally are limited on time. So Jenny, if you're there, would you be happy for us to swap the slots around?
Yeah, sure. When do you need me to start?
Okay, so if we do Kika and Sally now, and do your slot straight after that.
Yeah, that's fine. What time's that?
Okay, where are we? So that's going to be about 1:45. Lisa, are you okay?
Okay, that's fine.
If we just
No worries,
swap
I'll come
things
off of it.
around. Kika and Sally, does that work for you? Okay, so in that case then, I would like to hand over to Kika and to Sally from Gaia Wellbeing Collective, who I am sure are going to give us more information on a lot of this stuff that we're hearing today about wellbeing and how we can really look after ourselves. So over to you, ladies.
Okay, we're just going to share our, we just have a few slides. Okay, so we're just going to start with a little introduction about ourselves and our journeys. So I'm Kika, and I'm a co-founder of Gaia Wellbeing Collective, which is a community interest company. And we're going to talk about what Gaia does in a moment. But in terms of my personal journey, I also came from the corporate world. So I had like 3 career changes. Well, first career and then a change, and now this is my second change. And so I started in corporate until my early 30s, and then decided I wanted to do something that gave me more purpose and meaning. So I went into academia. I did a PhD in ecology, and it stayed in academia for many years until I had a child in my early 40s, and then found the pressures of academia just too much. I quite enjoyed what I did, but the pressure of the work itself was really not compatible with a small child. And that's when I found Sally and the work she was doing. And then that was incredibly healing for me in that period. I was feeling very lonely and going through a very difficult time in my life, and finding that community and being outdoors and finding other people that were going through similar situations was incredibly amazing. And then I decided to take the leap and leave academia and then set up Gaia, well, sort of a continuation of what Sally was doing before, and we just joined forces. And what I think is it was a very big and difficult decision to leave my previous career. But what I found is that it was not something that I left behind. It's almost like I'm not doing the same thing, but all the skills that I gathered throughout my previous jobs and careers, I still very much part of what I do. So that made it much easier, and I definitely don't look back. I'm exactly where I want to be. So yeah, that's a bit about me and my background.
Cool. I'm Sally, and my background began in wellbeing and fitness, and in fact just down the road in the Waterfront Leisure Centre. And over the years it's sort of like developed into a personal training career, and through the virtue of my way with clients, I found that when I had my second child, I needed to formalise some of my ways of working by doing a psychology degree, and it coincided with a pandemic, which absolutely rocked my world. A small child and a university degree at the same time. It's like, shall we just make this harder for you? So yeah, that was a crazy ride, and actually at the end of it I would actually say I felt quite broken, and I didn't know what to do, and decided to do what I knew best, which was to run a boot camp and to incorporate some of what I had learned over my degree, which was the connection with nature and how that works with boosting our well-being. So I started off with just a free little boot camp on Oxley's meadow, and then from there, with the help of various other people, sort of developed sort of the structure of a business, and then sort of moved a little bit more into the holistic world of laughter and women's circles, and just sort of having this vision of creating a business that could serve the community, create community, and give opportunities to be in nature, to work on our well-being, and to have these opportunities to connect with bygone sort of therapies that we really kind of need to bring back to the forefront of sort of primary healthcare, such as women just sitting in a circle and sharing wisdom, or through laughter and being in nature, and having meaningful connections with people and nature. So that's kind of how I came to where I'm at, and yeah, so Gaia Wellbeing Collective, we are a kick, and we look to serve sort of Greenwich and the surrounding areas with movement, laughter, and outdoor activities. I sort of even go as far afield as Farringdon, and yesterday in a library teaching some laughter therapy, which is incredible. It's such a beautiful practice. We are a community interest company, so everything that we do is about feeding the community and giving back. So we're not looking to, we do this because we love it, don't we, Erika? Not because we're going to line our own pockets. And our sort of core values are prevention, evidence-based practice, and grounded in community and connection. And we're looking to sort of partner more closely with NHS and primary healthcare networks to create more social prescribing pathways. So that's sort of where we see ourselves moving. If anyone here has experience of social prescription, it's a pretty yeah, it's not a very clear pathway. It's not made easy, which I think it actually should be, shouldn't it? So we're hopefully going to push for a smoother, easier access to social prescription, at least within Greenwich and Lewisham. So is there anything I should add?
Yeah, no. So that is, in a nutshell, who we are and what we do. And what we want to do. And on our briefing for this, Gary asked to talk about the challenges and lessons of being a woman-led business. And I think for me, the main thing that comes to mind is balancing care and leadership. That has been, I think, a challenge before I had my own business. And it still is. And I think with us, with Sally and I, we have small children, so the care is directly related to childcare. But I think most women, whether they have children or they don't have children, they tend to have a caring role in society. So I think there is a stats. I was trying to look for it. I couldn't find the exact number, but I think there is a stats that says that I think about 65 to 70% of the housework is done by women, regardless, even if both partners are in full-time employment. So I think care is a big thing when it comes to to start your own business and then to have to deal with everything that comes. And I think it applies to, as I said, not only women starting their own businesses, but women in general in any type of employment. And in terms of lessons, I think for me it was being adaptable and adapting to changes that come with it, and make changes when they are needed, and not be scared of making those changes when things get too much. Another challenge I think that came to mind was perception and credibility. I think women are, especially when we are in positions of leadership, they can be perceived as softer and less capable of men, unless they go into that more aggressive persona and way of being. And I particularly struggle with that because I am soft. That's my personality. I am a soft person, and I don't want to have to change to fit within the current leadership model. I am happy being the way I am. I think my softness is very valuable in so many ways when it comes to doing what I do and making connections and doing the job I do. So I don't want to have to change to fit in with this expectation that people in business have to be hard and competitive and loud and all of that. So that is a challenge. But I think that the upside of that is that I can see a change in terms of this more feminine leadership style coming to the forefront and being more appreciated for what it is. We don't need to be like men anymore to be heard and to be respected. We can be who we are and still be heard and respected. And I think, and I'm not sort of also saying that one is right and one is wrong. And I'm not also saying that only men is not a male and female thing. Like there are lots of men that can have a more feminine leadership style and women that can naturally have a more masculine leadership style. And my point is that they are both needed and they are complementary of each other, because this more feminine style can bring compassion, can bring the softness, while the more masculine style is more assertive and more competitive. And I think all these characteristics are needed.
I think you've got such a good point there, Kika. You really have. And I don't know what, I think we could probably do a whole session on leadership.
Sorry, and I'm talking too much, am I?
No. I think it's all, it's so valuable. And I don't know how everybody else is fixed for time, but maybe, I'm happy to hang on at the end. And if any of the attendees are happy to hang on, then I think, let's carry on the debate. I think it is you make such good points.
Thank you. I'm very passionate about it, so I wasn't very conscious of the time. Sorry.
No, please don't worry. I know that we've still got Jenny and Lisa, so yeah, more than happy to stay on and carry on the debate after if anybody fancies joining us.
We can have another one on that.
Absolutely. And in the meantime, you've given us a lot of information there, so fabulous.
So that's just to finish. That's what we do, and we'll pop our contact on the chat as well.
Yeah, please do that. And then it's nice and easy for everybody to reach out to you. Thank you. And in the meantime, Jenny and Lisa, are we okay to go with Jenny now and Lisa?
Yeah, fine. I do have to go at 12, but I can be
Okay.
quick at the end.
Yeah,
Okay.
good.
Okay, right. Well, we've got 10 minutes. So Jenny and Lisa, Jenny, do you have to go at 12 as well?
Yeah, because we're a little bit delayed, so yeah,
Okay.
I'm afraid I can't. Yeah, I stayed for the
Okay.
whole thing because yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, can we 5 minutes each? Is that enough?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll just
Okay.
explain like what I do basically.
Fabulous. Well, I'll leave that to you and not take any more of your time. So over to you, Jenny.
Okay, cool. Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Jenny Tomei. So I'm a personal trainer, nutritional and eating disorder therapist, and I run a non-profit organisation called JenUp Community CIC. So it's all about early intervention and prevention of eating disorders and body image issues within young people. So I go into schools in the local area and I do workshops for the students, parents and teachers around awareness on eating disorders and body image issues. So I work with the parents on it, so doing workshops on how to help your child have a healthy relationship with food, exercise and the body image, and then doing the staff training around eating disorder awareness, and then working with the students like both in group settings and one-on-one settings around helping them have that healthy relationship with food, like helping them like with disordered eating, body image. I work a lot with like ADHD and autistic clients as well, so they can be quite challenging. And then alongside that, I do work with one-on-one patients who have eating disorders as well. So I sometimes work alongside services as well for the nutrition sort of side of it. But yeah, that's kind of like what I do in a nutshell. So and the non-profit, it's been funded by I work with Gaia, so it's been funded by the National Ostery Community Fund twice, which is great. I also work with another charity who've helped funded some of our work, so our toolkits for our website. Yeah, so it's going really well. Obviously Sybil talking about work-life balance, like when things are growing, it's quite hard to like establish that. So like I feel like that's an ongoing challenge for me, and I'm aware of it. So yeah, I try and like, you know, have time like not work weekends anymore, so I try and have the balance and stuff, because the topic is quite draining for me as well, because obviously when I give a lot out as well, so I do find it takes a lot from me, like emotionally as well. So but yeah, like I really love what I do and I enjoy it, and yeah, and Sybil is great. She helps me with a website. I'm going for a bit of a redesign of the website, and I kind of was thinking about that, of how to like make the user journey a bit better for people coming to the website, because it's growing, like new resources. So we're going for a bit of a restructure of that, and I felt pretty good about that. So that was good. She's really supportive on that. So I definitely recommend Sybil for things like that. So and then Gary for the funding side of things. Again, like, you know, it's been a massive success for us, so I'm really excited to kind of move forward with it all and see where it all goes. But any questions you guys have, just let me know.
I think you another great point, actually. It's that insight, isn't it, Jenny? Knowing sort of when you're at that point where you need to kind of step away, and knowing the impact that the work that you do has on you, and just that's okay, you know, just being aware of it and putting things in place to protect yourself and your energy.
Yeah, definitely.
And how do people contact you? Are you able to pop your
Yeah,
details into
I'll put our website in the chat. Hold on. Yes, the website is there.
Fabulous.
Have a little look at the website as well. Yeah, as I said, there's going to be a few changes on that soon. So yeah, it's just yeah, I just want the kind of I feel like the user journey of the website needs a bit improving, so I think that's really important. So just kind of been talking about that. But yeah, there's all free toolkits on there for like parents, teachers, and young people. So you can go check those out, and they're all free. So you can download those.
Really great, thank you.
Yes, I do work just seeing that one-to-one. So I'm currently working alongside CAMS as well, mostly with anorexic sort of patients who have over-exercising tendencies. So they tend to sort of seek out an expert with the PT, nutrition and exercise side. So I go into a lot of the psychoeducation around that from the personal training perspective, like overtraining syndrome, what that does to the body. So I can work alongside CAMS from age for like 13. If they're under 16, then I have to work with Becky, who's a psychotherapist. We both work together. She's trained in eating disorders, so we both work as a team. If they're 16 and above, yes, I can. It's just because of my license and my insurance and stuff. But I also do group work because I do group work in the schools as well. So I work with young people who struggle with kind of the disordered eating, the eating disorder. The body image is the big thing. I see so much body image issues now. So I do work a lot with that. And that is mainly just working on things like their self-esteem, their confidence. And most of it is what I hear is that people just need to stop commenting on other people's bodies or just fat shaming others. So there's a lot of that goes on. And you'd be surprised how one comment can affect someone.
Absolutely, you're doing some incredible work, so thank you for that.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me, guys. But any other questions, you can just email me. It's all good.
And sorry to rush, sorry to kind of rush everybody, but much appreciated, Jenny. Thank you.
No worries.
Lisa, over to you as our HR consultant in the room.
Okay, hi everybody. Hopefully you can see my slide. It's just that's just basically who I am and what I do, with a nice photo taken by Graham Baker, who I know is also part of this community, and I would highly recommend. So yeah, I am the owner of Mountain HR. And that I started Mountain HR about 2 years ago, after 20 years in HR, working kind of in employee relations and policy creation and HR business partnering and things like that. I took voluntary redundancy from a role 2 years ago, and that gave me a chance to think about what I was going to do next. At that point, my son was 4 and about to start school, and I thought, well, this is the time. It's now or never. So I decided to start Mountain HR and work for myself. And I had the amazing support of Gary and Sybil and C&T Associates and Talking Business Programme, and they really helped me to get serious about actually being a business owner. So Mountain HR it does what it says on the tin. It's an HR consultancy for small, medium and larger businesses as well. I work with people of all size, so whether it's a micro business taking on their first freelancer to a project that I did with the National Archives recently, and everything in between. I've worked with theatres, childcare, and I'm working on a really interesting project in Greenwich at the moment, which is a nursery with a co-working space attached. So really interesting and really varied work, and I help them with anything that comes along. So whether it's getting the right policies and documentation in place, whether it's dealing with an absence issue, a wellbeing issue, training managers, anything like that, anything that kind of comes under the people banner, as it were. I do ad hoc projects with people, I do ongoing retainers, or I have, fractional HR director relationships with people where I work with them one day a week, and for all intents and purposes, the people who work within that company think that I work there too. And as well as that, I offer things like outplacement support and management and leadership coaching. So really busy and an exciting business. And with everybody's support, it's going really well and I'm really enjoying it. But I did have some issues when I first started, definitely. And I echo a lot of what everybody has said here about digital well-being, about prioritizing sleep, about looking after yourself, having those boundaries. And I think over the last 2 years, I've learned a lot of lessons about what really works as a female business owner and what you really need to think about. And I think the main one for me at the beginning was comparing myself to others, looking at other HR consultants on LinkedIn, looking at what other people were doing and trying to be like them and, you know, kind of mimicking them in a way, thinking they're successful. I know I'll do what they did. But what I realized over time is actually that when I was myself, when I was authentic, that was so much more successful and so much more enjoyable. So that's the one thing I would say. And I think this comes into digital well-being, breaking up with your phone, is stop looking what everybody else out there is doing. Do what is authentic to you. The other kind of pitfall that I came across was trying to do everything at once, being on all the social media platforms, having a website, having a newsletter, doing passive income, doing in person. And I think you can do everything you want to, but not all at once. So having that really good business plan, having a really good project plan, and you know, really thinking about it and taking time and thinking about what you're going to do over the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months. So it's in the pipeline, you know it's going to happen, but it doesn't all have to happen all at once. I'm just really conscious of time. But the one thing I wanted to say, and this is kind of something that's coming up, is you will have noticed in the media that there's a lot currently about the Employment Rights Bill, and lots of employment changes that are coming up that affect small businesses and large businesses alike. There's a lot of scaremongering out there. There's a lot of speculation, and there's a lot of kind of negative and positive news out there. So what I am currently helping everybody to do is to have a roadmap of what actually is happening, what is confirmed, what's not confirmed, so we can kick it down the road a little bit, and helping people understand what the Employment Rights Bill means for them and their company, and the things that they can get in place now to protect themselves going forward. So if anybody, and we haven't got time now, but if anybody does have questions about the Employment Rights Bill or legislation changes in general, then I can offer kind of consultations and which end in having that roadmap, which help you figure out what's going on and what you need to do. I will stop there because I know that we're really tight on time. But hopefully you can find me on social media, or just Google Mountain HR. I'm based in Sidcup and you'll find me. But also I have my contact details on screen for a bit there, so maybe hopefully whoever needed them jotted them down. But thanks everybody, and I will stop there.
That whole idea of having a roadmap, I think, is great advice. And I think sometimes HR gets forgotten about, and we're so intent on building our businesses that we don't even think that we need it. But the second you start thinking about that first employee is the time to contact Lisa, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's really, really helpful. I hope that you've all gained plenty from the people that you've heard speak today. Great to see you, Kika's. Lovely to meet you. I'll be in touch with you. And yeah, any questions, then please keep them coming into CNT, and then we can always answer those separately. Gary, back over to you.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you all today. I've learned things from all of the speakers, which is great news. And I've been really pleased with the quality of the presentations. This is part of a series. The next one is on November the 27th, and it's about funding your business. But all this information is on our website. You're probably all on our mailing list anyway. But if you're not, please contact us, and we'll put you on our mailing list if you consent to that. And this presentation has been recorded and will be on YouTube within the next 2 weeks. So I'd just like to thank everybody. I'd like to thank in particular Michelle for hosting this today. You managed to get through that hour in a very non-confrontational style. So thank you very much for that. And I look forward to seeing you all soon.